Hey. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mosaics of Wonderland. Episode 9 ball. Ooh, it's a pretty special episode, isn't it?
Yeah, it's episode 9. Yeah. That means Cirno. Cirno. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce
you always
his name.
say as Cirno, which is very interesting. I've never
I don't know why.
I don't know. I remember, what was the original way for me of saying it? I don't recall. I know I did not say it as Cirno, because that sounded like a pretty stupid name for a cute little ice fairy. But at one point, I guess I heard the Japanese pronunciation, so I just called it Cirno. Japanese pronunciation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cirno is way, it makes more sense. The thing with fucking English language is I always pronounce the words based on how it looks, on intuition. That's my survival instinct. Like every time I look at the English word and look at how they are arranged, and then I will try to pronounce it based on how it looks. That's why I always say Cirno. Yeah, even though this might be the wrong way.
I mean, that's what you naturally do if you don't really have a resource to check how to pronounce it. So you just pronounce it based on what you know and based on your observation of how the word is spelled. Though I wouldn't really default to Cirno, I just call it Cirno. Because there's like a ch sound, even though there's no H.
I defaulted to Cirno because it's English word. Unless I'm looking at the katakana.
Cirno.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we doing? Which story are we doing?
We are doing a pretty sad story, so we're not going to talk about comedy today, even though it might as well be, because Cirno has of comedy. Yeah, Cirno has quite a large collection of like comedy doujins, or at least doujins where she does appear, but she usually appears in a more comedic fashion. Something comedic happens to her, or or she does something comedic. That's usually what happens. Because,
she's treated as an idiot. Always treated as an idiot.
Yeah, I suppose the fandom in general at large sees her as a sort of an idiot, a very brave, a proud, reckless numbnut, an idiot. Yes,
that's in the lore. That's accurate to the lore.
She is very reckless in lore. I'm not sure.
In the lore, she is proud and she is idiot. Both idiot and proud of it. And proud of herself.
Well, in that case, we're not really talking about a series today that actually focuses on those things. Well, it does a bit. But in the grand scheme of things, it goes for a wildly different direction than the usual stereotypical comedic stuff that we read. We're talking about Reimu and Cirno's 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6.
You piece of shit. Now here's the problem. I did not research who the artist is. I know it's a guy. Did you research the artist?
No, you don't know he's a guy. I just told you. I told you before the recording.
Motherfucker, you might as well just don't make me look like a fucking idiot. I'm not the Cirno today, motherfucker.
Okay. So the person who draw it is his name Kamanari, also named Honi Sakura, according to Dynasty Reader. And he has a pixie page, and the pixie page is a giant duck. The profile picture, and it doesn't do much doujins aside from the Cirno and Reimu 1, 2, 3, and then Scarlet Devil mentions Sugar Bomb, Baka Records by Kane, and he did a Kaon anthology comic chapter. No idea, I didn't read any of these things. And Cirno and Reimu 1, 2, 3, it's actually not finished.
It has not been finished for I think it's more than 5 years now. The last
chapter is 2012, if I remember correctly.
That's 8 by this point 8 years, which is weird because he has actually been, if I recall correctly, updating it rather consistently at the time.
No, but you need to know, is it because like in the later chapters, the page becomes shorter.
become
even shorter.
In page.
Even shorter. And in one of the afterwards, he say that there's a 1.5 year gap for the chapters.
I guess at a certain point, the consistencies started to get a bit fucky. And around after 2012, he dropped the doujin in and of itself, which is a bit sad.
He never returns.
Yeah, he never returned. The doujin had a bit more stuff to it. By the looks of it might as well have gone on for like 1 or 2 more volumes, but he never came back.
It looks like it's at the climax to me.
It is at the climax. Like it's at the climax. But by this, I don't know. By the looks of it, he never came back to Toho after this. I would kind of believe he at least tried to do some fan art, but he never came back in terms of like drawing doujins and stuff. He stopped.
Are you looking at the PC page?
No, I remember at the very least checking out to see whether or not there was a volume 10. There isn't. He stopped at volume 9 entirely. His entire doujin collection stops at volume 9. He has nothing else.
So
which is
at the
sad.
PC page, he's actually at the PC page and the Twitter page. He's actually still alive, but there's no sign of Toho. And like at the PC page, the final Toho works he done is like a Cirno fan art, which is right beside the cover for chapter 9, and then the rest of the stuff is none of them are Toho. That's some artwork he has done.
Very interesting. That's a very huge drop, though. Because
he's still alive.
I know, but no, like that's a huge drop in terms of Toho content, because it's like he created a doujin, 1 more fan art, and just stopped. Where did it go? I don't know. Maybe all of his inspiration went into that one last doujin that did not conclude the story, and he fucked off. Now, of course, I'm sorry about the tone of voice. I'm not trying to insult him or anything. No, I'm not. I'm just like being a bit hyperbolic.
It's just that it's very unfortunate because it's an unfinished story.
It is a good story too. I think. Have we talked enough about this good sir?
We haven't talked about the premise. And I also try asking in Discord, like what happens to the author, and they on the Toho Discord, they told me that he said he will return to it someday, but he never returned to it. Or the author is like on a hiatus.
It's like this sort of prophecy. I will return one day to help save the land, and he never fucking came back. Oh no!
Yeah,
he might come. He might still come back. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Maybe one day somewhere he pops back up and goes, here's the last volume. Fuck it, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Don't talk to me about Toho again. Don't ask me about anyone. And it would be like the greatest volume. It would be 100 pages. No, it would be amazing.
It would be a very rushed volume because it's like the entire story within 20 pages.
Shit. Because in the beginning, he started out with like 50? Sometimes I think did he get up to 60 pages or more than that?
Chapter 2 is 87 pages.
Oh, that's his highest. He went up to that many pages, like, which is interesting because most doujins don't go there. But here, he does, which is very interesting. But after a certain point, I think like after chapter 6 or during chapter 6, and after that, the the number of pages got cut in, I guess, more than half, which is insane.
I'm looking at Dynasty Scan. And chapters, it's from chapter 7 onward, it's become less than 20 pages.
I'm not sure why, though.
Didn't explain it afterwards.
I don't think anyone is sure why. Maybe at this point he started losing motivation and just slowly, like, inched his way out of there.
Might be.
Might be.
Because also remember he mentioned there's like 1.5 year gap. I don't fully understand the Japanese text, but I see the kanji for 1.5 years for the chapter 8.
Wow. He just disappeared for 1.5 years. Jesus. But in the grand scheme of things, this is a manga with a doujin, sorry. A doujin with a very interesting backstory to it. From, there's a lot of pages. A very interesting narrative to petering out and disappearing. Never coming back. But I still hope the fucker comes back. Yeah. But
yeah, at least come back to finish the story. Even though, finish the story for all the fans.
For all the fans. It's like if fucking I don't know, that what is it? Osana Reimu? Is it called Reimu? Osana Reimu something. Do you know that thing? What was it called? Osana Reimu? Reimu? It's like a sort of a video, a series of doujins about tiny baby Reimu and EX Rumia, I think, and Reimu's mom as well.
Okay, is that also?
It's also on hiatus. No, because here's the thing: it's a very big. I was trying to use as a comparison the idea of what if that series literally never finished and just had a hiatus that never stopped? And people would be losing their minds because Osana Reimu and Reimu were very big phenomenons in terms of storytelling and stuff in the Toho fandom.
Is this a doujin series?
If I recall, it is a doujin series, but there was a YouTube sort of thing. They turned it into a video, but it's more or less just comic panels here and there, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything more to say for the authors. I think we can finally get to the story. The content of the doujin.
What's the story? Reimu and Cirno, they do stuff.
They want to fuck each other.
Yeah.
Basically, they want to fuck each other.
Reimu wants to in the beginning.
It's also shown, by that point, Cirno also wants to fuck Reimu.
I'm not sure whether or not we can use the word fuck. Let's calm down with the hyperbole. Okay.
Yeah, that's a bit too aggressive. By that point, Cirno also likes Reimu.
Also likes Reimu, I guess. Actually, for I think almost half of the entire doujin series, Cirno doesn't like Reimu in that way, or at least she doesn't realize she is.
Cirno likes
because in the
Reimu.
doujin. Because in the doujin, it's portrayed. Cirno is portrayed as a bit of a kid in terms of mentality. So she doesn't know, the extent in which she likes Reimu or Reimu's advances and stuff. She does, but she herself does not recognize it. So there's very little progression. It's more or less that drama between liking Reimu in that way, but I want to be a friend. I don't understand that kind of stuff. And Reimu going, fuck, I need that fairy pussy! The big... I don't know whether that's spoilers if we talk about the first doujin volume.
Because we never have a spoiler tag in this series.
Oh, did we? Shit, I didn't even realize.
You always go straight into spoilers.
What the fuck? Oh, shit. Yeah, because we don't respect doujins in the same way we respect manga and stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I would just say if we just talk about, it's more laid back.
We just talk about it. It's a very informal thing.
Yeah, it's more informal. I say it's more informal, more laid back.
We're two friends. We read a doujin. We thought to ourselves, okay, this is an interesting doujin. What do you think about it? It's that kind of stuff. The entire story doesn't actually follow a sort of a... how should I say it? Fuck! I forgot the word.
Linear?
Something to do with timeline. The timeline
it's not linear.
It's not
Which I disagree.
Motherfucker.
If you say that, I disagree.
No, did you not read the fucking afterword? And what was it? there was volume 1.5 and volume 2.
And that is
where they talked about the fact that volume 1 is actually later.
It's not that hard to first. It's not that hard to follow. Second, this timeline fucking sucks.
Non-linear stories don't even need to be hard to fucking follow. This is a pretty simple non-linear story in terms of just timeline itself. The first volume happens technically later in the narrative. And after that, the other stories afterwards take place earlier in the story, like the beginning of the story and stuff like that.
I think the 1.5 is the first in the timeline.
1.5 is the first. Number 2 is the second.
Yeah, and then number 3. 1.5, 2, 3,
and
1.
Then 1 was it? 5. 4?
1.5, 2, 3, 1, and then 4, and then continue onward.
It continues onward. Which
is
very
hard to follow.
It's not very, but then again, I'm not really sure why that was the case. I'm guessing here. Reimu and Cirno's 1, 2, 3. In the beginning, I guess the guy wasn't really thinking about like separate volumes or something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
So you are saying
to sell the series, he had to get the biggest part of the story in the first volume to get people interested, to get people looking into to get people looking forward to the relationship between Reimu and Cirno. But then after that, they were all cucked because volume 1.5, volume 2, and volume 3 did not come after volume 1, story timeline-wise.
What do you mean by that? I don't really understand. I don't really understand.
It's just me making assumptions because I don't know why the first volume is like this. The first volume is a huge
agree.
For readers because it is one of the most high tension. I think it's actually one of the most high tension part of the story.
Well, there's one thing I want to say. Yeah. I think that if you want to experience this story, I think you should. This is a story that you should experience it by reading it through the timeline instead of the chapter order.
I'm not sure whether or not that should be the case.
Well, I think reading volume 1 feels like I'm reading a high point in the middle of the story. I think you should find that it starts from 1.5.
But here's the thing, though. It feels very much like a doujin that can just end right there and then. It does not need a series.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Like, I think that the moment that Reimu kiss Cirno in chapter 1, very big spoiler, and then afterwards, I was like, okay, I feel like this can be a story that ends in one chapter. But this motherfucker, he wants to continue this story, so he make that Reimu beat up everybody and tells Kane to wipe everybody's memory, which fucking rubs me the wrong way.
Even then, you could end the Doujin series there. It would just be a cliffhanger ending, and we can all think about, all fantasize. Oh, Reimu and Cirno's relationship afterwards. Do they get pussy? No, it's all up in your head.
I feel like
then the series continued. Yeah.
Well, to me, I feel like the part that he tells Kane to wipe everybody's memory off, that feels like a sequel hook. Well, not a sequel, like it's continue. Like, it says that basically the chapter will continue. The series will continue.
It can be a sequel hook or just a cliffhanger
in a terrible way. It's like telling Kane to wipe everyone's memory. It's just like it's that I don't like it. It's very obvious that it's a way to continue the story. But
I'm not sure why you find a problem with this. Then again, it's my opinion that I'm okay with it. Yeah. I don't see any problem with it. Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
At least this plot point returns. Like, so it's not as horrible with it. It does return. Like, Kane wipe the memory off. that part.
It returns a bit weirdly because the later volumes are a bit weird narratively. They don't really make it. It's almost a bit of a rush.
Is it?
But I don't know. But I think we can come to that later or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
What do we talk about? There's a lot to talk about in this series. The drama,
the
art, the characterization of the characters.
Well, there's one thing I want to reiterate. So you think that it starts from chapter 1? You're fine with starting from chapter 1. For me,
I'm fine with starting from chapter 1.
I'm not fine with it. I think chapter 1 should be in the middle of the story, and they should start with chapter 1.5, and then 2, and then 3, and then finally chapter 1 should be chapter 4, and then they should, and this from there slowly build up. I think from like making a story like that is a better build up to the story. It would be more interesting.
I do agree it's better build up, but I rather think that the drama before that point where Reimu kisses Cirno is amped up by the idea that Reimu does kiss Cirno, but how did it happen? How did we get to this point?
I mean, I think it can be I think it's a trope. I don't know how to call this trope. Like, there's some of the stories that begin with like in the beginning there's like a very big, maybe like very big action scenes, and then there's a big plot twist, and then we get to like maybe flashback to a moment.
If I recall correctly, it's called in media res. It's the idea of starting the story in the middle of something.
Okay.
I don't know whether or not in media res it also is about stories that start in the middle of something and then go back to the beginning to talk about how we got to the middle. But it sounds like in media res. INMEDIA RES.
INMEDIA RES. Okay.
Remember to do the spaces in media res.
Okay.
The idea, like starting. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. Shit. Of starting a story in the middle. It should be in media res, unless I've forgotten, which is pretty bad because I'm a media student. I'm not supposed to forget this shit. Fuck.
Media res. So this is an example. I think this is an example of media res that is very terrible.
I'm not. I suppose you could say it's terrible because it reveals too much. In the beginning of the first volume, we already see Reimu, I guess, confessing to Cirno. Before we go back into like a bit of the beginning, and then after that the story progresses to the point where Reimu kisses Cirno and it confesses to her. That is okay in media res, where we saw the confession, went back in time, then went through the narrative towards the
that will work too.
Kiss.
I agree. Before they have the kiss, like when Reimu confess to Cirno, and then they go back in time and we see how it all happens. That might work as well. I agree.
That worked because that part did not reveal too much. It gave you a hook. It told you, oh, you're gonna see some really good stuff, but I'm not gonna show you. Read the story first. Then you can get there. And we read the story, and we see the kiss, and we go, oh!
Yeah, I think, and then afterwards, when Reimu beat up everyone and tell Kane to wipe off the memory, I think that will be less annoying to see that happen.
I don't know. I'm fine with it, if only because
it'll be less annoying to see it happen.
I'm fine with the Kane scene now that I think about it, but I'm not sure why. It just doesn't rub me anyway. I just took it as it is. I'm fine with the
at least Kane. At least it just brought back. The plot point brought back. So it's not really an excuse. Because I was seeing episodic shows that maybe, like maybe something like a sitcom, and they have to like maybe keep the plot going forever. So by the end of the episode, everything has to be reset. Something like that.
This one isn't really the case.
Yeah, this one isn't really the case because the plot point is brought back, so it's not as terrible.
Not only is the plot point brought back, I'm not sure whether or not you can even write a story like this to go on forever just by continuously erasing everyone's memory. The erasing everyone's memory thing might as well just be a one-off thing. And Reimu ever confesses to
but they can use
or anything like that.
Many ways. They can use many ways to reset everything back to normal. Have you seen Phineas and Ferb?
Yes, the Nisekoi problem. Yes. Where it never progresses until the very end of the fucking story. Where the entire story, by this point, where it keeps going, is basically on life support. And you beg the doctors, please, I don't want him to suffer anymore. I want him off the fucking machine, but the doctors keep putting him there because it's... I don't fucking know. It's the fucking artist or the writer's decision to make more fucking money off of people who are too stupid to understand that fucking series needs to die. I fucking hate Nisekoi. If you can tell.
I don't know how many times have you repeat that about Nisekoi. You read it so much.
Nisekoi should have died in like the first 100 chapters. The first 100 chapters were fucking great. After that, it just felt like shit. Let's go back to this.
Okay, let's go back. I'm done talking about the chapter order. Now, what can we talk about next?
Let's go back to Reimu and Chirino's
Reimu and Chirino love story.
What about the art style? The art style is very unorthodox for me because it's not really something you see in other anime art. It is still the same. It's like big eyes and stuff, but here it's very... There's a certain style.
More chibi.
I don't see anywhere else.
Slightly more chibi.
Slightly more chibi. Big head. Technically smaller body, but it's really just a thinner body. Thinner body shape, I guess.
Everybody is more chibi. There isn't really like a very tall. Everybody is kind of like slightly more lolly side, I say. Which is...
No, everybody's still... Yeah, sorry, continue.
Which is not that... I've seen it before. I've seen other artists with similar art style. And let's just say... It's normal for me. I think because I've seen a few artists who have done similar art style, so it doesn't so that maybe if you compare this art style to other to a standard, how a standard anime girl should look like, it is unusual. But I've seen many other art style that is similar to Cirno and Reimu's 1, 2, 3, so for me, I think on this case, this one is it's alright to me.
Nah, I like the art style because the art style is a bit different than, as you said before, than other how anime girls are supposed to be portrayed. This one is slightly different, and I myself like it because of the fact that I do appreciate the differences. There's a different way in how he draws the characters. They are actually to proportion from what I can tell.
To proportion?
Proportionally sized. Oh, their hands are this, their arms are this long, legs, blah, blah, blah. So because of the fact that he draws them all relatively skinny in a sense, they feel a bit more elongated, quote unquote.
You mean they are stretched?
They are model, quote unquote model, looks a bit stretched out in a sense, and he draws huge eyes. Now that I think about it,
their eyes are really huge,
humongous. But it's a cute kind of humongous, and even then, I guess it contemplates the fact that their heads are pretty big. He draws the heads relatively big.
So that's why I say it's a little more chibi, more lolly,
right?
Yeah, it'll be more chibi, more lolly.
The body size is fine. I'm guessing, but the head, the head is almost bigger than almost goes beyond the shoulder in terms of width.
It's bigger than the shoulder. It goes beyond the shoulder. So I'm looking at Yuko.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I'm looking at Yuko. Her head is bigger than... It's bigger... It's go beyond the shoulder. Oh, yeah, but for Yukari, it doesn't. Yukari doesn't. But Yuko, yes.
The gasp. Amazing. So in the grand scheme of things, as I've said before, I like the art style. Like the uniqueness of it.
It's unique. I still say it's unique, even though it doesn't It doesn't catch me as hard. It doesn't speak to me as hard as Jordan.
I mean, I suppose. So the art style is fine, and there are times when what about the things he draws? They're like there's the part where Cirno gets, I guess, fucking Thanos'd by Yukari.
Wait, what chapter is this?
Was it chapter 5 or
5?
6?
Chapter 5.
Chapter 6 was the Yukari and Yuko part. Yeah, where everything goes dark and Cirno seemingly gets deleted off of existence. I like artists who do have a sense of understanding like how to portray this kind of stuff. Like he draws it as if it's code. It's like those boxy cube looking code stuff that slowly gets deleted and all that, like bits get deleted and stuff, which is very cool. I liked that portrayal because it is basically a thematic idea of deletion. Basically, I like how he does it. I don't really have any other examples in my head. That's the one that stuck out the most to me, and even then it's just like one scene.
I don't remember it exists until you told me.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, it's not that memorable to me.
Then, I guess it's just like, what, 2 to 3 pages of it? So I'm not surprised if you forgot about it.
Like, in my memories, the panels, none of them has caught my attention that much, including that. The one that you told me. The one that Cirno get deleted.
I suppose the paneling is relatively standard. He doesn't try to go too far and stuff like this. Even then, the part where I talked about the deletion thing is by itself relatively standard. I would come to believe I have seen something like this in multiple different manga before. It's just nice to see that he has the chops to draw it, which is cool. Always nice to see artists know how to do that kind of stuff. What else?
What else?
Did this story make you feel sad?
This story doesn't look sad to me at all. It doesn't look sad at all.
No.
Because before I start reading this story, I heard about this doujin already, and people told me it's sad and it's on eternal hiatus. And after I read it, yes, it's on eternal hiatus, but I don't think it's that sad.
I did not get too sad on the series. I did not cry or anything. I did not get totally emotional.
Is there anything even? Is there anything even said about it?
Yes.
Aside from chapter 6.
Don't you fucking dare say it like that. Don't say that like that, because I do see that there are points where you can be sad, or at the very least you can sympathize with the drama of either Reimu or Cirno. And I did not totally sympathize with him, but I can understand where these kinds of problems come from. Cirno does in the beginning. Cirno has, I guess, a sort of a inferiority complex because she can't beat Reimu.
Isn't that just one chapter?
That is just one chapter, but it is a big point of the chapter. It's the point that, of course, you're gonna feel a bit sad about her because she's feeling tortured by this idea that she's just not strong enough. And every time she tries, it's just not working. She's not winning. And that's where the sad of that chapter comes in. I do not get sad myself, but I could at least sympathize a bit with where she's coming from. I do have a bit of an inferiority complex in some areas, but here I'm fine, of course. I'm talking like I'm a normal human being with a brain. But in the grand scheme of things, I did not... let me try to repeat that. I did not get sad. I could sympathize, and I can appreciate where the parts of the sads are supposed to be.
I get it. Then what about the other chapters? Aside from chapter 4.
Chapter 1, the chapter 1 sad comes from Reimu being devastated that she thinks Cirno is fucking dead. Cirno isn't dead, and if we quickly get reminded, well, it was all a prank. What are we gonna do? Cirno is... sorry, not Cirno. Reimu is fucking crying. This is pretty weird. We did not expect her to cry. Help! But again, the part of her crying can elicit sadness. Whether or not it does is another different issue altogether. It can, if you, I guess, are emotionally attached to the series, like from the fucking get-go. I don't recall chapter 1.5 was a comedic sort of thing. I don't recall chapter 3 though. I don't know why. Was it also a funny chapter?
Chapter 3?
I don't think so.
Chapter 3 shows how Reimu falls in love with Cirno. And Marisa is in the chapter for the first time.
That one isn't... I suppose that one isn't totally sad. That one is more of a... it's a pretty fluffy chapter, if I recall. But I think... Shit, I don't remember when Reimu realizes she likes Cirno. Is it chapter 4
it's
or is it
chapter
in the same
3.
chapter?
Chapter 3.
It's in the same chapter.
No, so it's in chapter 3
there's a part. So I guess then there's a drama. From the fluff, it transitions to the drama part of Reimu going, oh shit, maybe I do like Cirno. What am I gonna do about that? And I guess then we get to a point where we, I guess, follow the drama of how Reimu copes with liking Cirno.
Which is chapter 1. Which is chapter 1. The one you say that how Reimu copes with it is chapter 1. Well, we already read chapter 1 at that point.
Yeah. Chapter 4 was the aftermath of chapter 1.
A sequel to chapter 1. which is they celebrate something and wear kimonos and they would look at fireworks. And what happens again?
There was a part that I recall. It was drawn to be a bit solemn. There was supposed to be a bit of melancholy or sadness to it. Of Reimu telling Cirno that she likes someone. She doesn't say she likes Cirno because of course she's a bit self-conscious about that, I guess. Which of course already can be you can interpret this to be a bit tragic. She doesn't want to tell the person she actually loves to their face that she loves
That's chapter 4.
That's just chapter 4, yes. I'm talking about chapter 4, the kimono festival.
The fireworks.
Festival. The fire festival.
Fire festival?
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that here, brother. I'll tell you later. Sounds as if it's some sort of rite of passage or something.
Yeah.
And then the sadness, of course, comes from the fact that both Reimu cannot convey her feelings to Cirno, and Cirno does not know who Reimu is talking about. However, she herself realizes that at that moment she wants to be a special person to Reimu. But she doesn't really, I guess, understand the concept of love at this point in time.
She doesn't realize herself is falling in love with Reimu.
She doesn't realize she herself is falling in love with Reimu. And it's if I remember correctly, in the art for this was drawn in a way where it's trying to elicit the feeling that a tragedy gives, something like a light tragedy gives you, I guess.
How is this a tragedy?
Oh, melancholy.
It is a love story.
I think a tragedy is too strong a word. I'm sorry. Shit, what was that word? Is it missed opportunity?
How so?
Maybe a sad missed opportunity. The missed opportunity of the two lovers trying to tell each other that, they love each other. One doesn't want to say it. The other doesn't know they actually love them in that way. Even though I guess at that point in time, Cirno already loves Reimu.
Okay, wait first. Now I remember why. Now I think I can explain why I don't find this series that sad. Because if I look at this, how they try to slowly fall in love for each other, the way it's structured, it's just a romance story. Do you get it?
Yeah,
it's just a romance story.
Different?
So
did you fucking expect anything different?
I mean, because when people told me that it's sad, I expected something actually really sad instead of a romance story where the two characters will slowly, the two characters are suffering because of they are not that together, they are not officially together, but by the end they will be together. Yeah, they will be together by the end.
Of course they will be together.
They probably will if this series isn't on eternal hiatus. So that's why I don't find that sad, because like I already had the idea that like I going like when I was reading, I was like thinking like the idea that they will end up together, and nothing much said about it.
It's basically the idea that you expect everything. So anything that happens is something you've seen before, so you just can't get emotionally attached because you've seen better things before. You may have seen
not necessarily better things before. I've seen better things before. It's more like I know the formula of it. I know how the formula of a romance story will work. A romantic story will work. Well, I think if there is one sad thing, it's chapter 6, and then I have a big problem with chapter 6. As well.
Oh no! Oh Jesus God!
Yeah, but beforehand,
what is wrong, my friend?
we are talking about chapter 4 just now, and we move to chapter 5 first.
Yes, we talk about chapter 5.
Do you have anything to say? Chapter 5.
Chapter 5 was Cirno just staying at Reimu's place, right? Just her having fun. Ooh, pretty cute little fluffy stuff, if I recall correctly.
Looking at it.
Because it starts after the festival in chapter 4.
Yeah, it's after the festival.
Cirno for some reason slept over at like Reimu's place, and Reimu's like, "What the fuck? Why are you here?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I just slept at your place." Yeah, and nothing happened.
But there's also Remilia sing.
Sorry.
Yeah, we forgot to mention Remilia. Remilia also. Remilia wanna fuck Reimu.
Everyone wants Reimu's fucking pussy.
Nah, she's just Remilia and Cirno.
Yeah, Cirno. However, from what I could tell, Remilia is she gets very sad about it, yes. But in the grand scheme of things, she just very quickly backs off because...
Yeah, Remilia is the best character in this series because she respects her lovers, how do I say it? Preference?
The choice of the lover.
Yeah, the choice of the lover. Like, she knows that Reimu has no eyes for her, and she knows that Reimu loves someone else, and she just supports it. She didn't try to like, oh fucking shit, Reimu loves someone else, she doesn't love me, so I'm fucking sad. She doesn't do that. And so Remilia is the best character.
At one point, it actually almost looked like that was going to happen, where she was going to like get mad and try to like find a way to get get Reimu to start liking her instead of Cirno. But very quickly we realized that no, that's not happening.
That's chapter 5. Actually, that's chapter 5.
That is chapter 5. Like, oh, that's not happening. She's actually like, putting it down. She's like, okay, no. I cannot win. Reimu is looking very happy. Why should I interfere? Even though she still grieves a lot about it, like she cries. In I think chapter 8 or 9, it's revealed that she was fucking drinking or something like that. Like, drinking out of grief. Because, I can't get Reimu anymore. Sad face.
Is it chapter 9? Drink. Let me check.
Or no, chapter 8 or 7, I forgot. Not chapter 9, sorry.
Not chapter 9.
Chapter 9 is too far.
I skimmed through chapter 9, it's not there. Let's see, I think it may be chapter 8. Yeah, chapter 8. Chapter 8 is where she is getting drunk. And she's like...
drunk. It's so cute. She's
like
so sad.
Her entire appearance is different in chapter 8.
And it's like she has there's all these bottles around her.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. Oh my god, look at all those vintage wines she's drank.
Now, can we get to chapter 6 now? Do you have anything more to say?
Chapter 5 is... There was the ending of chapter 5.
Which is what you say about the Penguins.
Yukari comes by, yeets Cirno out of existence, and I'm there going, wait, why? I'm confused? Why did you do that?
That's a cliffhanger, basically.
Cliffhanger.
Okay. So...
Read the next volume to find out Yukari's intentions.
So chapter 6 is basically Yukari's history with Yuko. And if you know about Yuko's lore and how Yuko becomes a ghost, that's the entire story of chapter 6. which is Yukari and Yuko, they are friends together, and then they find that everybody around Yuko die, so Yuko kills herself under the tree and stuff, those lore. And I have problem with this. I have a very big problem with this, because first, how is this related to the current story, which is between Cirno and Reimu? And second, the way they reveal that Yuko is the culprit, the way they reveal it, it's not convincing at all. It feels like they are just making baseless accusation on Yuko is the culprit. It's really, really fucking weird. It's like if there's a murder mystery, and then they just point to one person and say that person is the murderer, and then the person himself say he also think he's the murderer, and then he get caught and get arrested. But we never really see, but there's no clue or evidence or proof in the story that points to that person is the murderer. That's how I feel of the story.
I actually don't really recall Chapter 6 too well. I am under the impression that Chapter 6 is basically talking about how Yukari came to a certain mindset that caused her to fucking eliminate Cirno. The problem is I don't know what the fuck
but that mindset is
Chapter 6
really
is
weird.
A very weird one.
The mindset still doesn't really make sense, which is the first one I say. Like, how is this related to the main story? It's just that is it like because she lost an important person, so is it because like she lost an important person, which to her is Yuko, and now
losing
to Reimu is like Cirno, and it's basically tell Cirno to just suck it up because she has experienced it as well? Is that it?
I want to say that it's basically this. The flashback is basically telling us why she is killing. She killed. No, it's not killed. She eliminated Cirno. It's because during her time with Yuko, she did not take affirmative action to, I guess, stop whatever it is that is the big problem in Chapter 6, in the Chapter 6 flashback. And in the present day, now that she has Reimu, she is now taking affirmative action on things that may spiral very badly in the future. She doesn't want a repeat of what happened with Yuyuko, where she technically does a few things, but she doesn't solve the problem in and of itself.
Hey, that makes sense. The explanation makes sense.
That explanation makes sense. Whether or not the explanation actually can be applicable, because for some reason the both of us are too dumb to remember the entire thing, I'm not sure.
Not sure about what?
Maybe it's some other reason in Chapter 6. Because by the sounds of it, we're both a bit unsure about what Chapter 6 is actually trying to say.
Well, that's one of my big problem with Chapter 6, and basically Yukari's role in the story. Yukari is basically, I feel like Yukari is the antagonist. Is the antagonist in the story. And then Chapter 6 is trying to introduce why she is the antagonist by giving us the backstory between her and Yuko. But then I finished Chapter 6 and it's okay, how is this related to her motivation to delete Cirno out of existence?
Yeah, I'm not really sure as well. I mean, the reason...
But what you say...
Yukari gives...
what you say, maybe this time Yukari tries to take an effort to meet...
Take action.
Yeah, try to take the action. The explanation it makes sense to me. But when I read it, I didn't notice this action. I didn't notice this action, anything by her that is explicitly say that she's trying to take action this time. No. Maybe
that's true,
it might. Maybe if this story actually continues and we get to see more of the story, maybe we will see Yukari's true intention behind this. That's a theory I have.
This is the part of this. In my opinion, this is the part of the story where things get a bit more weird. It's almost like the writer the artist, basically the writer, just lost ideas on how to do this story. Because the Yukari thing comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yukari just pops up and goes, "Hey, Cirno has to die." Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
what? Why?
Maybe it's like, oh, so Reimu is in love with Cirno, and Cirno is starting to realize she's in love with Reimu, and I don't want this to be going smoothly, so I had to introduce an obstacle. So we just throw Yukari into the middle.
Which is weird, because there's no build-up to it. There's never a part in the story.
Nope, no build-up.
It's hinted that anything like this can happen. It's never hinted, and Yukari's here, and Cirno is
Cirno is dead.
Dead?
Cirno is removed from existence.
So narratively, this is a very weird part of the story.
And
I'm still
yeah, go on.
Yeah. A part of me wants to say that I'm still okay with it, but yeah, I can understand why some people may find this just fucking weird.
I'm not okay with it.
It might have been a lot better if the story had more fucking volumes to just pan out this event. Like, this build-up of Yukari realizing, like, oh, Reimu and Cirno are starting to like each other. What should I do? Oh, what are my worries? How are my worries coming up? What should I do to stop them? That kind of stuff.
Actually, so do you have anything more to say about chapter 6? And then we can move on to 7, 8, 9. Because
chapter 6 has the sad part again.
Chapter 6 is Yukari and Yuko, which is the one that's obviously the sad story. Very obvious a sad story, which I take issue. And I already explained why.
I can see that. It's a sad story, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I understand why people find it sad. I personally do not find it sad, blah, blah, blah. I've already talked about this regarding most of the sads of the series. Yes, to go on.
Yeah.
With the other chapters.
So, even, like, how should I say? The 7, 8, 9 isn't that. The way you word it, you make it sound like the moment Yukari is introduced, the story start to go downhill. But to me, 7, 8, 9 isn't that. Doesn't feel that way. 7, 8, and 9. Like.
What do you mean by that?
Like the way you word it is that after Yukari is introduced, the story start to go downhill. The entire series. I
did not mean it that way. I meant it in the sense of, it is narratively weird for this conflict to appear out of nowhere. It can take away from the experience because again, as I said before, it comes out of nowhere. I don't know why it comes out of nowhere. I don't know it feels a bit rushed, but in the grand scheme of things, I did still appreciate the series based on what it still gives me, but it does feel rushed, and I do believe it could have been a bit better if it.
Then it will take more time. Then it needs to take more time to build up everything.
I suppose if you think about it.
No, but the Kane
takes more time.
The Kane plotline and Remida plotline builds quite well, in my opinion.
Because they were all built up almost, I guess, in the background, a sort of.
There's time dedicated to them, so it's not as terrible as Yukari's.
Yeah, it's built up more naturally. Yeah. That's one.
And they are all shown in 8 and 9. Like Kane's and Remida's plotline. Yeah, but then 7. There's the problem with 7, 8, 9 is they are all under 20 chapters. They can all be fit together as one single chapter because they are so short.
That's true. Chapter 7,
8 and 9.
8 and 9, very short. I don't know why. It is very short.
Yeah, it starts to become short, and we don't know why. And and they have a very long gap between each other because of the afterword I mentioned early on.
Yeah. a bit sad in the grand scheme of things. Very sad. I'm sad now. I'm gonna fall down and die.
Hey, are you sad because the series is not going to end? You're not going to get an ending?
Why is the series not ending?
Chapter 9,
so
everybody is working together to want to save Reimu. And we don't know whether Reimu can beat Yukari.
How? This is so sad.
Yeah, for those who...
I wanted to make a joke.
For those who didn't know,
never mind.
Like, so after Yukari deleted Cirno, and then she basically said that Reimu is a Hakure Miko, and she cannot fall in love. She has to stick to her job.
Fall in love.
And Reimu is like, fuck you. If I beat you, then I want you to bring bring Cirno back. And then they have a fight off screens and everything, and the plot just happened. But it does show us one panel, like, it looks like Reimu is in a big trouble. Like, Reimu doesn't seem to be able to beat Yukari.
Even although she is still standing valiantly against Yukari, she's not gonna quit, basically.
Yeah. Because Reimu is the protagonist of the series.
MVP. Yeah, she's the MVP. She
has plot armor.
She may be badly hurt, but that doesn't mean she's gonna lose. Plot armor. Jesus.
So we have basically gone through all the story.
Yes, we've gone through all the story. It is I still recommend it. It is a very nice story in the grand scheme of things. I don't know why I don't want to say anything else.
You recommend it? I guess I recommend. I guess I can recommend it or not.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have an ending.
If you are a Reimu X Cirno fan, this is the literal, biggest doujin that you can read about the pairing.
I agree.
So don't fucking miss it. Yes, you agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but Reimu and Cirno, I have to say, Reimu and Cirno pairing sounds weird. I never heard of that pairing before.
Okay, let's just assume everyone can be paired with everyone by this point. I couldn't care less who's paired with who.
Well, I think the weirdest pairing is Reimu and Tui.
I've seen that. Shit, where was that from?
The last episode.
Who drew it? Oh yeah, fuck. I was pretty stupid there.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's not a really romantic pairing though. It's more or less like a strong friendship sort of pairing.
It still counts as Yuri.
I like stream.
It counts as Yuri. Yeah, you remember Yuri is not necessarily romantic relationship between girls. It can just be relationship between girls.
Whoops. Just a strong friendship between girls?
Yeah.
Sort of thing?
Yeah. So it falls into Yuri.
Sense. I see. That's pretty interesting, actually.
So you seem to like Cirno and Reimu 1, 2, 3 more than me. I have to say. Yeah. I didn't like it as much as Jordan, but it's not terribly boring either. Because it's like, I read a doujin series. I guess I can say that.
Oh, I read a doujin
but
series. It's pretty okay.
Yeah, it's pretty okay. It's alright. 6 out of 10. Nah. Nah. Just joking. It's not that.
Nah.
I don't give scores.
Oh dear.
Well, there's one thing I want to say. It's I don't remember. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, even though I'm fine with the story, like that, I don't particularly hate it or particularly like it. I still take a lot of issue with no ending, with the lack of ending. That's the worst thing.
I will come to believe everyone fucking takes issue with the fact that there is no ending, because it's never been completed. I don't know if it ever will be completed, which is like some super sad shit. I am now sad. I will now cry. It will never be completed.
It won't.
Ever. It will never be.
So we
just sit down and cry.
We don't have. Do you have anything more to say about this story? This series? I don't.
I don't have anything.
Now we can stop here.
Substantial to say.
And we can stop here. Actually, this episode is quite short. It's like 1 hour, 1 hour and 1 minute.
1 hour.
1 hour and 1 minute.
Yeah, because we've already said what we had to say. It was a good series.
Yeah, but even though
we had some problems with it.
Short, but I feel like we have said a lot of stuff about it. So I actually quite like this episode, despite its length, because we say a lot of things.
Blah blah blah, lots of stuff.
Yeah, I think we can stop here for the episode 9.
Yeah, we can stop here for the episode. Yep.
So who's closing the show?
So guys, you
okay, I'll close the show. So thank you for listening to Mosaics of Eastern Wonderland episode 9. See you next time on the next episode 10.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
See you guys, episode 10. Woohoo! Yeah, that's like the big episode, right?
It doesn't feel that big.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel very big.
It's like a first anniversary thing, but we couldn't give a shit about each other.
Yeah. Sad.
Yep. We are dead.
Goodbye.
Yes. See you guys. Mwah.